Peace, y'all. Welcome to the first episode of the Klyph Notes podcast for 2020. This one's dope, man. I had a chance to sit and chop it up with the homie Young Mill. We talked about all kinds of stuff. His time so far as an artist in the music industry, his work as an entrepreneur building new businesses, and all kinds of stuff, man. So check out this latest episode, the Klyph Notes podcast, featuring the homie Young Mill.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show you're about to listen to may contain explicit content. So guess what? You need to put them babies to sleep. This is for grown folks only. So we're not held liable for anything you might be offended by. Thank you for listening.
Yes, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Available everywhere you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all of the above. Appreciate checking us out, man. Excited to have this be the first episode of the Klyph Notes podcast of the new decade. That joint sound crazy, yo. The first episode of 2020. We actually recording it in 2019, but it's like theater of the mind, yo. This is the first one of 2020. And excited for the new year, man. 2019 has been crazy dope. I've had an opportunity to have some amazing guests, some really dope conversations with all kinds of folk, and you get an opportunity to go back and check out the whole catalog on your favorite podcast capture device or platform. So go back and hear some really cool conversations. So much about the history of Portland hip hop, which has been great, as well as folk who are outside of the scene. Really good, really good conversation. So go check those out. But excited for 2020. I think 2020 is going to be a real special year. And we're just going to continue to bring y'all more great content, man, more great conversations. Shout out to the people who've been supporting us for a minute, especially my folk over at Akepele Apparel. As you know, they have been rocking with the Klyph Notes podcast for some time, and they released some new merch that is dope. I'm definitely rocking. But obviously when I'm rocking, I don't know if y'all could get this, man. I got the custom. So we got the video situation going right now. We got the custom. This is a custom joint, a custom acapella joint. You see, we got the Klyph on there. You know what I mean? But man, shout out to Akepele, a really great local clothing company, really representing music associated with representing clothing associated with music. Man, they've been doing their thing for 5 years. And, we've been doing Klyph Notes for 5 years, so it's just serendipity that we rock together, man. So check them out. Akepele Apparel is AKEPELE.com. And, of course, big ups to XRAY FM for their continued support of the Klyph Notes podcast. So 5 years in, it's been a part of the journey of DJ Klyph Productions. Really started with Welcome to the Neighborhood, the radio show that I do, where I've had an opportunity to chop it with artists. And when I started the show, it was a matter of reaching out to cats and building with people in the city and getting to know artists. And on this journey, I had an opportunity to start recognizing my guest for the day and the things that he was doing, and never really had a chance to chop it up. Whenever we see one another, it's always love. I've had a chance to host him at the event that we do called Mic Check. He came through and just killed his set, but his story is something I'm really interested into diving into. So without any further ado, man, let him know who you are.
Hey, man, what's going on, Klyph? This is your boy, Young Mill.
What's good with you, bro?
What's popping, man? This is long overdue. I'm excited for this one.
Man, absolutely. So, so much to talk about, and so much that I am truly interested in learning in terms of your journey. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when I started doing the radio situation and working on building with local artists and seeing who in Portland was doing stuff, your name was one that I saw, right? Saw the things that you were doing, but it was interesting because the moves that I saw you making weren't necessarily, when I first saw your name, it wasn't directly related to doing stuff in Portland, which is crazy to me. So at any rate, from Portland, right?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay. Your music journey, where did that begin?
So my musical journey, it really starts within my home, because my mom, she was an artist when I was growing up and before I was even born.
Yeah.
She was Portland's first female rapper.
Word.
Yeah, her name was Lady Love.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's a little throwback, a little gem for them, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
And then she basically, I got my love for music from her, and then also my uncle as well. My older brothers, we would just be freestyling around the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Throw a couple beats on and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And so I just happened to become the one that really grabbed it and took it further along the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Taking it more serious and things like that.
Yeah.
And now we here, man.
Well, it's funny, bro. It's funny that you break it down like that, because that's one of the things that I think sometimes people may not necessarily recognize, that, you know, when it comes to rap, rap is such a part of the culture, not like the culture how we kind of use it in this grandiose description, like literal culture. Like,
it is.
We grew up rapping.
It's integrated.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what you do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just getting a cipher, or, you know, making beats on the table or whatever, and you just rhyme, and it's just a part of your DNA.
Yeah.
You specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, it goes back for generations. Even my great grandma, she was well into music as well, and then her son, which is my mom's dad, who actually passed recently, rest in peace. Word. But yeah, man, it's just a long line of musical creative people, man, and it's just crazy.
That's what's up, bro. So then I saw when I saw your name, the thing that I saw your name associated with was like you were doing stuff outside of the region.
Right.
And then I saw Young Mill, and then I saw Def Jam.
Yeah.
And I was like what? So how does that even happen?
So the Def Jam situation, that's probably what that's how I got on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah.
Because I mean, although I was doing a lot of work in a lot of shows here and there, just trying to lay the groundwork locally. Yeah. Before that, but when I got the opportunity for the Def Jam contest, it was actually a contest that I won to make a song about the importance of education and setting goals. Yeah. And so I recorded a song called "The Leaders of the New School," and I was chosen out of like a couple hundred people or something like that entered online. Yeah. And I got flown out to. I flew out. I got flown out to New York City to go perform on BET's 106 in Park, and then also to have a sit down with Russel Simmons and Kevin Liles of Def Jam, and really just chop it up and just kind of sharpen my knife in all kinds of ways and just soak up the game as a youngin'. You know what I'm saying? Because these two guys are legends in the game. Right. Flat out.
Yeah, for sure.
After I won the contest, it really put a fire under my. I don't know if we can cuss on here.
Yeah, man. You at home, baby.
It really lit a fire under me, and I just been just going 300% since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit then. So where were you musically at that time when the contest popped up? So how had you released it? Had you recorded anything? Were you primarily just doing shows like associated with schools? Like, where were you on your journey at that point?
Yeah. I'll start from kind of like the beginning.
Yeah.
When I was 14, that's when I did my first concert.
Okay.
And it's a funny story behind that as well.
Okay.
Where I was in Spanish class. I think I was a sophomore at the time.
Yeah.
In high school, and I had a buddy. His name is his name is Bobby. I don't know. I don't want to give out like too much information about him, but yeah, his name is Bobby. And we was sitting in Spanish class, and he was telling me about how he was a rapper. And at this time, I was on MySpace, and I had racked up a couple numbers and stuff like that just from self-recordings at home and things like that. Nothing too crazy, but I thought they was dope. I always thought it was dope, even though it's trash. But then after that, I just kind of started putting my music out on MySpace, and word was getting around town and school and things like that. People were hearing about me rapping. Yeah. And my buddy Bobby, he was like, "Bro, I got a concert coming up, but here's the catch. I don't got no songs." So I'm
wait, how you got a concert? You ain't got no
that's
songs.
What I'm saying.
How did that happen?
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, "How do you got a concert? You ain't got no songs." He's like, "Man, I know you be in the studio. I know you be making music. So we gotta work. We gotta do something. We gonna make a song together, and then I'll just give you the rest of the concert." And I was like, "All right, that sounds cool to me," because I'm like, I ain't never performed before, so I'm like, "Okay, let's do this. Let's try this. You know, I'm gonna see what we do with it." Yeah. And so we created this song called "Swagger So Clean." It might be on MySpace still. I'm not sure. It might be floating out there somewhere. But yeah, it's called "Swagger So Clean." And I made the beat as well because I started making beats before I was rapping. But and then I just started rapping on the beats because I ain't had nobody to rap on my beats.
That's common, you know what I'm saying? That's very
it happens
common.
very frequently, you know. But then I also took it real serious with the bars too. So So long story short, we recreated Swagger So Clean, and then the show comes around. I'm selling lots of tickets at the school.
Oh,
we getting this thing packed out, right?
Yeah.
It's my first show, so I think we sold like, I don't know how many tickets, but it was at least a good like 35 tickets, something like that. It seemed like it was packed in there though.
Yeah.
It was one of them showcases at Satyricon.
Okay.
And
yo, that's a throwback right
that's what I'm
there,
saying.
yo.
that's what
Satyricon.
I'm saying. So Satyricon, before it was shut down,
Okay.
that was my Young Mill did his very first show at Satyricon. You know,
That's nuts, bro.
crazy.
So that's your first live show.
Yeah.
And really, like, and I don't know, I mean, did it resonate with you at that point, the significance of Satyricon, like in Portland music lore?
It didn't. Not until afterwards.
Yeah.
I walked in there. I looked at it like, oh, it's just some rock club.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's how it seemed to me. Because I mean, that was literally my first step into the hip hop community in
Yeah.
Portland, really,
Yeah.
as like an actual artist in a real venue,
Right.
doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Up until that point, I had really just been dropping songs on MySpace and stuff like that. That was like the only social media at the time that music was really getting pushed behind.
It's crazy, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much there to your history. I think is really interesting. And when you consider the fact that, you know, it is an iconic venue that unfortunately is not here anymore.
Right.
Like, that's a part of your musical journey. That's dope, yo.
Man, I wish that was still there though.
Yeah.
I would have thrown another crazy show there.
Right? Right.
That'd have been dope.
So you did the show there, and then obviously within your circle of influence, that kind of put you on the scene, and people realize, yo, like this, you know, this cat does stuff. So then
Right.
what happens from there?
So with the first show, that wasn't really like everybody caught on then.
Yeah.
It was more like I knew that this was what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
Because of how the show went down and the reception that I got from the people that were there and
Yeah.
all my classmates, all my homies, and just random people who had also shown up to
Yeah.
support the other artists on the bill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the funniest part about the show was that he had his one verse to do from the song that we did together,
Right.
and he just choked.
Word.
He just choked, and I just kind of just stepped in and just rapped this verse for him.
Oh, that's what's up.
Just to make sure we don't lose the
Right,
momentum, because
right.
I'm sitting here, I rehearse so diligently
Yeah.
just to make sure I'm not gonna get up there and make a fool of myself.
Right.
So I was in my room in the mirror, you know, with the hairbrush, and
Yeah.
you know how
Yeah,
those throwback
absolutely,
stories,
bro. Absolutely.
and just making sure I got all my stuff set and memorized so I
Yeah.
can get up there and do my thing.
That's what's up.
And yeah, man, it happened like it happened, but everybody who was at the show, we had a great time, man.
No doubt.
And I just knew from that moment on, I was like, I can do this. This is what I like.
Yeah.
I feel at home up here.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So obviously home influence, and then I'm sure listening to what was happening, you know, in the industry. Were you aware at all of any local artists, local MCs?
Yes, guys like Cool Nuts, Diesel P, those
Word.
two really. I met them in person at showcases and things like that.
Yeah.
And then from there, they also booked me on a lot of different stuff.
Okay.
Just to like lend a helping hand to a young artist that's up and coming.
Word.
So like I owe a lot to them. Cause Randall Wyatt is what he goes by
Yep,
now.
yep, yep,
Randall Wyatt,
mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
But yeah, man. Other than that, there was just other showcases that would pop up. I know Rose Bent had put me on the EP release party, and then
Yeah.
also Luck One and Diz. That they tapped me on the shoulder and
Word
pulled
up.
me in and
Yeah.
to open up for they stuff for their release party too at Backspace.
Yep.
So
I
yeah,
remember
Backspace was my hub for a little bit after that. So
Yeah.
just doing a lot of shows at Backspace and different community centers
Right.
and things like that
Yeah.
to really get the name popping. And then from there, I went on to just opening up for like more major artists and stuff like that. For like, I share stages with Mac Miller, cause T&E. I don't know. Do you know
Yeah.
T&E?
Come on, bro.
Tobin
the
Evan,
homies,
Calvin
Evan, Calvin
Valentine.
Valentine.
Yeah, man.
AKA G-Force.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
G-Force.
B.
That's how he was, man.
Word up.
And then, yeah, those guys, these are the names, bro.
Yeah. Everybody you've mentioned so far, everybody you mentioned so far has been a guest on the podcast, B.
Yeah?
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
sick, bro.
connected with the but anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, that's really where I was like, because I was taking it serious. I always believed in myself, but I didn't know how to really maneuver within the scene or how easy it was or how hard it was,
Yeah.
just because I just didn't know.
Right.
I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
So just meeting these guys, and they were taking their craft real serious. And I seen I think it was T&E that I met at a Cool Nuts show or something like that at the Hawthorne. I can't remember the exact bill, but I met both of Cool Nuts and T&E. I think it was the same night.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I met Cool Nuts after the show, and I was with my mom, and they had a relationship where I think she recorded on one of his earlier albums before too.
Word.
So like they had a conversation where it was like an easy alley-oop to like, yo, Nuts, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, that was pretty cool that I met Cool Nuts there, but it wasn't like a right away, like, come on with me, we gonna sign you or something that. It was like we chopping it up and we getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And from there we always built a really steady relationship to where it's like he just, whenever he needs somebody to come knock out a performance, or anybody who needs an opening slot that he feels like you know what I'm saying, I feel like a good fit.
Yeah.
He always gonna push my name in there. So I think it's dope, man.
Yeah, Nuts is. I mean, obviously, his name is one of the names that consistently comes up when we talk about the local scene and the platforms that he's had for years and years that he's shared with folk, and so that's so cool to hear artists like yourself who tell that side of the story, because Nuts has been on. I mean, and Nuts will share a little bit, but he's not one to go out and say, "Oh, I put all of these people on." You know what I'm saying? So I think it's dope when artists can tell that story. And it's dope to see that's been, that's a part of the Portland hip hop scene. That there are these connections, that there have been these connections throughout the years where people have connected and collaborated and given up and coming artists opportunities. I think that's super dope.
Absolutely, man. And this is all really early.
Yeah.
Cause I was only like 15, 16, 17. And then from 18 is when I went to Def Jam.
Yeah.
And then after that, I came back and just was going full force, just dropping a lot of music independently. And, you know what I'm saying, we won't really talk about, like, the deal situation or anything like that. But but from there, it just went on to just go super hard and just start jumping on more bills and getting the name out, putting out the music the right way, getting the visuals right, and things like that, to really just make sure that my brand is how I want it to be. Because at that point, when I got to Def Jam, I also was just like, I was still pretty new, so I just was there to soak up game. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to get in no situation where I would regret anything or stuff like that. So I came home just with a good head on my shoulders and a good heart in my body, ready to just make some good music.
So that experience of going to Def Jam and at that stage, so when around what year was that?
That was 2011, my graduation year. Okay.
So when that situation happened with Def Jam, who were some of the artists? Do you remember some of the artists that you associated with the label?
Not. Oh well, like what do you mean, like
with Def Jam?
Yeah.
So the reason I ask is because for me coming up, huge Run DMC fan, right?
Oh yeah.
Understand that that they were on Profile, but that's Russ's brother. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding Def Jam and really what Def Jam meant to hip hop in their heyday.
Exactly.
And back in the day when I was doing my thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of being in any way associated with the label, like being able to hold vinyl that had the Def Jam logo on it, you know what I'm saying? Having merch with the Def, I mean, that's the pinnacle. Yeah. So now we talking about many, many years later when you had that opportunity, was it, I mean, for you, was Def Jam like oh my gosh, is Def Jam, or was it like just another one of the labels that was out there?
It was absolutely it's Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? I knew exactly. I did all the research too, and I know exactly who Def Jam was when the situation approached.
Word.
So it was more like I really wanted to just learn and just know what the inside of the game is like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from there, I really just had my pen and my notepads out, and just really just building a connection with these two guys that really helped build hip hop.
That's what's up, bro. You know what I mean? Like what an experience.
It really was.
So then coming out of that experience, having an opportunity to sit with individuals like that who've done so much, not only for their label but also for hip hop as an art form.
Right.
Was leaving that situation, is that something that had the impact on you that made you come home looking at what you want to do career-wise differently, or you feel like you was already on that path? Or?
I think that just the way the hip-hop game is now is just a little bit different when it comes to record labels. And at the point, I just wasn't in a good leverage stand to sign anything.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I wanted to come home and really build more on top of what, you know what I'm saying? And then if somewhere down the line, if we want to really get some, you know what I'm saying, with the ink, then we should do that later once I got more of a fan base and more of things going on that I'm not going just jumping through a 360 or something. Right. You know what I mean? And there's no disrespect at all.
Right.
Because it's all love with Russel and Kevin and stuff like that. Because they to this point, this same conversation comes up very often. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it, no matter what, it helped my career.
That's what's up, bro.
Sure.
So you came home after that experience. Obviously, people in your circle of influence know you, know the opportunity that you had, see you do your thing on a national level. You come back to Portland, and then what happens?
Oh, I'm famous now. I'm famous now, baby. Locally, that's just how it felt. Yeah. Like everywhere I would go, I mean, it's always those conversations, or like kids will run up to me and just, you're Young Mill, you know, like, and it felt so cool because to me, I mean, although it was a pretty crazy experience, I still feel the same. It wasn't like I was coming home and I'm Hollywood or I'm better than anybody from there. I'm just ready to. That's just the first step for me. I'm just ready to get back to it. Right. So I think it was really cool because once, we're gonna talk about the project that I'm dropping pretty soon too. But when I was out in New York, I actually got to meet the guy who I did the gift projects with. His name is Rhodes Art. Okay. So there's 4 gift projects, including the new one that we just dropped on Christmas Day. Word. And so that was the first time. So there was just a whole lot that I got to do out there on the East Coast for the first time. Was meet with the Def Jam and Russell Simmons and them. Yeah. And then also perform on BET's 106 in Park, which was a real big part of my childhood as well. Because every time I got out from school, I would run home and go watch 106. Yeah. So that's where I built a big love for my music video passion and just hip hop itself, just visually. Yeah. And like the countdowns and people coming to do the interviews like we doing right now, you know, sitting on the couch and stuff like that. Yeah. And then also just to really connect with a connection that I had already started to build, which was Rhodes Art. And we started excuse me. Now we produced the gift 1 and 2 at that time. Yeah. And then once I got back that following year, that following Christmas, that's when we started the gift 3 as well. So it was just a whole onslaught of just going crazy on the East Coast.
So when it comes to the gift, like what was the genesis of that project? Like how did that idea even come together?
So the first gift that I made, I really just woke up and realized that Christmas was on the way. And I was like, man, you know what would be dope, man? Why hasn't nobody sampled all these Christmas songs and just flipped them, bro? Yeah. So I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, I was on like, I think it was like Dat Piff or something, because the mixtape website at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was scrolling, I was like, wait, there's a Christmas mixtape right here. Yeah. Produced by some guy named Rhodes Art. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm about to just record on these. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm about to just record on these. Yeah. And so I did that, but this is like, what is it? Maybe like 5 or 6 days right before Christmas. So I'm like, I got like a couple days. Yeah. I need to drop this on Christmas. Yeah. So I just went straight to the lab and just knocked out like 8 songs and then dropped them on Christmas. And I gave him all of his credit and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I made sure that I just wasn't just taking them and not giving them no credit or nothing like that. But I don't recommend you do this necessarily because it might not end like it ended for me. Right. But after that, his manager contacted me via email and was wondering like what's going on, like why are you using my artist beats? Right. But he was like, this is how the message went. He was like, so when I first heard the project, I immediately went into lawyer mode. But then when I listened to it all the way through, I realized that this is a really good project and we should all work together. Oh, word. So I was like, you're right, because I loved his production and his style is real like boom bap, and it's just something that was missing at the time for me. Like I wasn't making those type of beats for myself, and I just feel like that's what I grew up listening to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Things like that vibe, that real hip hop vibe, where it's like you could really get lyrical. And for me, it was short notice to drop on Christmas, but I made sure that like I didn't take it too serious. The pressure wasn't like keeping me from working. The pressure was what made me create the project. No doubt. And that's kind of what we follow. That's like the formula I follow every year since then. Is just wait till the last minute and just go.
So let's talk about that real quick. When this dude talk about wait till the last minute, so the gift 4 released Christmas of 2019, December the 25th is when it dropped. Yo, Mill,
Yeah.
When did you get the beats for that, bro?
I got the beats on Tuesday, bro.
Come on,
Last Tuesday. What day is that? It's like, let me look at the calendar.
That's
like
crazy to
the
me, yo.
21st or something.
Because if you haven't checked that out yet, y'all gotta go check out the gift for Young Mel.
Okay, yeah, that's the 17th. That was last week.
This dude got the beats on the 17th and dropped the project on the 25th, and it doesn't sound like just some like throwaway project either.
Right. That's what I really wanted it to not sound like, because it's always been that time crunch.
Mm-hmm.
But I let the pressure really drive the lyrical content, because it's not something I sat with to really like sculpt in certain ways. It's more like it's really just flowing out naturally, and things that are really on my chest to get off, things like that. So I think that's what really made the project special. And then other than that, I decided to, I started recording on Wednesday, and then the next day I was like, I should get collabs on this. So I'm like thinking to myself, who's gonna be able to record any collabs and write any verses in any time like this, bro?
Right.
So I had a select few of mine that I really reached out to, and I feel like they the same type of animal who can really get in there under short notice and just do something that's worthwhile. Yeah. And those guys that happen to be Cool Nuts himself, which is a real big deal. We'll come back to that. Dope, yeah. And then also Mighty, my guy DLG. Yeah. He's a local dude that y'all probably gonna hear some more from him pretty soon too. Word. And also on the project, I got my two actual blood brothers, my older brother and my younger brother. Word. And then my uncle, which is Mad Zags. Okay. Yeah, man. It's just a crazy amount of energy, and I had to crack whips on people to get these collabs, but it was 100% worth it, and I feel like everybody appreciated it because it was just so natural, and it was like a good time. The energy was right. I feel like it just had to happen like that.
That's what's up, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, to me, your journey is so cool. So then going back to when I learned of who you were, and I would see you out and about, and not even understanding, just recognizing that you had done some stuff outside of the city. Mm-hmm. Like, you never came across as Hollywood at all, which cool. I think is dope. You know what I'm saying? From somebody I didn't really know you, but you were always a dude who was working, grinding, but super humble. And then I've always had an appreciation for the way you carry yourself, not just as a human being, but like as an artist as well. So you mentioned a minute ago, like the beats that you heard at first, you're doing a gift one, boom bap. That already speaks to me. Yeah. And it's something that you feel like you could get real lyrical on. That's been everything that I hear from you. That's what I hear. So what drives that? Like, what drives you being that type of artist?
I mean, it's funny because I feel like to the public, that's not what I look like. Mm-hmm. Like, the majority of people probably don't view me as a lyrical artist at all. Yeah. They really don't. They probably, just like I said on the tape, like, I feel like the majority of people probably view me as like a pop artist or like a dance, like make dance songs and stuff like that. But I really, my real roots really is in hip hop. And like, even though I do kind of make like radio type of friendly records, right, it's smart. It's the thing to do, because that's what I grew up listening to too, because I was also born in the 90s. I was born in 93. Mm-hmm. So that's like the transition into like a lot of different artists, like absolutely. You know what I mean? So the radio friendly stuff was also a big part of my life, as well as R&B. So my sound is really just a mixture of all that. Yeah. All the boom bap stuff that I grew up with the hip hops and the East Coast influences that I've had. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then also just strictly just the radio stuff, because that's what I was a little kid. Right, and that's what all I heard for the most part. Yeah. Other than the stuff that my brothers and my mom would play around the house. My mom would play the R&B stuff, and my older brothers would school me on Biggie Pac and NWA and then everything else I had to just go back and just do for myself. Yeah. And just figure out what's going on and what I liked and what I didn't like. And I think that's what I enjoyed the most about it, was just finding myself with the music in order to become myself.
It's interesting though, because although I can see, I don't know, man. To me, making music that's radio friendly doesn't necessarily put somebody in a category that's non-lyrical. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, there's a lot of radio friendly music that's, and man, a part of it is just sort of what I gravitate towards, man. Like your music, like you be saying stuff on your records. You know what I mean? And that's to me that's it's obviously purposeful. You know, when people go to your website and they read your bio and they see what you're about, and even when you looking at the things that you have achieved and the things that are associated with that, like the way that you value education and those pieces, like that obviously drives how you create.
It does.
And I don't think that because you make stuff that's radio friendly or stuff that people, you know, can vibe with in terms of dance and this, that, and the third, that should immediately say, oh, well, you're not a lyricist. And that's bunk, for real. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel the very same way, because even though we both feel that way, there are those people who will sit there and be like, bro, you ain't even know, like, you're not no purist, bro, so you don't got bars.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I'll play them the songs and they be like, all right,
yeah,
you cool.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but
so
it's
so
funny
like,
though.
with that, then, like, so you come back, like you said, people recognize what you've done. How do you navigate the I hate using words like haters, because I don't think it's always hate. I think sometimes it's not necessarily understanding or knowing how to deal with people who have had any level of success in what they've done and maybe what I want to do. So how have you been able to navigate that piece of it and not let that, one, become discouraging to you, two, like sour you towards the industry, just because, again, the way you carry yourself, none of that. I haven't had an opportunity to see any of that from you.
Well, that's good. I appreciate that. No, but I mean, for me, really, the haters, for lack of a better word, but I mean, I've always learned that people always told me that haters were a good thing. That's like, so I just learned to just take that and just run with it. If somebody really doesn't understand, I feel like, just like you said, it's really just a lack of understanding of where you come from and why you are the way you are. Yeah. And why they aren't the way that you are, or vice versa, you know? Yeah. So it's really just a difference. The differences between each other, like somebody who's successful. I mean, I don't know. It's a real hard conversation to not get negative about, because it's a negative topic. Like, people who just hate other people for being successful or following their dreams. Like I said on the project, I believe that a lot of times that's just, it's the self-reflection of themselves not achieving their own goals. I agree. So it's their way of dealing with it. Yeah. And it kind of just comes off that way. You know, and it's really not personal. So I think that's the way I deal with it, is just realizing, like, when people hate on you, it's probably not even like, it's not even got nothing to do with me. Really, it really isn't. It's a personal thing. Yeah. That's how I see it.
It's a wise young man right there, for real. Chopping with the homie Young Mill. So soon after, like I said, whenever I would see you out and about, it was always love. And then I had an opportunity, really due to Star Child. So I've been a collaborator with Star and Trox. Star, rest in peace, from Jump, and really helped to curate Mic Check. But Star was really the one who hit me. Was like, yo, let's get Young Mill. So he made the reach out, had you do your thing, and then that was the first time, I think, that I really got to, like, really chop it with you. I was like, man, I want to have you on the show. I want to do these things. But to see you do your thing on stage, and during one of those conversations, this is when I found out that I really found out about your love and your passion for videography.
That's true.
So did that come, like you said early on? You started making beats because you needed beats to rhyme over. Was becoming a videographer a part of that process as well?
It's a very similar process, because when I first started making music, just like I was saying, like I would run home and go watch 106 in Park. Yeah. It wasn't just the music that I was admiring at the time. It was also the video. I had a thing for film. I just love movies and how it looked. Things look cool, you know. I don't know how they do it, but I want to learn it. Yeah. So it was also just another natural passion for me. It just happened to come because when I first started making music, we didn't have no videographer. Mm-hmm. There wasn't an Aeon Visual to go ask. Yeah. It really wasn't. Yeah. So just me and my mom, she would hold the camera for me a lot of times, and then I would go home and edit them. So I I got like maybe like 12 years in editing experience at this point, bro. I don't know. I'm 26 now, so that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's basically how I got my start in video. And then from that point, oh yeah, man, my mom would help me a lot with just holding the camera for me and trying to make sure we got something to put together, because she always been in my corner from the start.
Yeah.
Momager mode. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just doing everything she can and sacrificing everything that she can to make sure that I got what I need to try to succeed, even if we ain't got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So, and then all hell broke loose when she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
And it was stage 3, so it was looking bad.
Yeah.
Luckily she beat it. Thank God.
Man,
thank God.
For real.
But at that time, I didn't have no choice but to buy my own camera gear and get to it. Me and my DJ, his name is Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
It was just us two, just tag teaming it. I was like, I'll direct the video and have him hold the cameras for me and stuff like that. And he still films my stuff today. Like, and then I edit him, of course. And you know, we tag team it up, but it just came from dire need, bro. Dire need.
That's what's up, bro. And you've had success. Now you've had success in both lanes as a recording artist and as a videographer. So much so that you're doing work for other people as a videographer. Like not only shooting videos for yourself.
Exactly. And I really want to make sure that people don't, especially in the film world, don't view me as somebody who just picked up a camera and just wants to get rich off of it, because that's really not what it is. It's really that I'm an artist in multiple ways. I'm just an overall creative being.
Right.
And that's something I felt like I had a passion for. It worked for me. And I felt like when I was in that spot, those artists, there's a lot of artists that are in that spot that like, bro, I have no way of making no videos. And the way that the music industry is going, you have to have music videos, otherwise you don't exist, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish it was like, I mean, although I just dropped a project that was all audio just on Christmas, I wish it was that easy to just drop audio forever. You know what I'm saying? But you still have to drop a single or something that have visuals for people to really know who you are as an artist and to connect with you. So that's what I wanted to do with Aeon Visual, because I mean, I shoot other videos other than music videos, but I still make sure to stay grounded within the music videos as well, because that's just, I got love for it. You know what I'm saying? The music, that's the passion. That's where it started. So I really want to make sure that artists have some kind of outlet for themselves. Yeah. Because I didn't have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The name Aeon Visuals, where's that from?
It basically stems from Eon, which is a very long time, or like everything, like a cultivation, and then everything. So it basically means everything visual. Got you. And I added the A to just make it sound nice. That's what I'm saying. Because it sound right.
Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, that's basically it.
That's crazy, bro. So I know trying to balance that, right? Trying to balance the visual work, the audio work. That's got to be a challenge to manage all that. But you're not necessarily doing a solo, because you have a team. Like you mentioned, you got your DJ.
Right.
Who else is a part of the team, and who is the team?
The team is really, I mean, to be honest, the team really is majority of the team is myself, and then Johnny, and then anybody who else I reach out to finish the project. Because there's a lot of people I've met throughout the film industry locally, and then also just in the region that will come and help me on set if needed, or I can outsource some editing here, or have somebody come hold the camera for me here. So it really, the team is very small, but it's also very, very flexible. It's very fluid to where if we need something else, we can always bring it in. So I make sure to keep those connections and the network open, so that we can just make sure we create something. That's you know what I'm saying? That's what's up. At the end of the day. Yeah. But I mean, I'm pretty much the overseer of it. And in 2020, we're gonna be expanding the team as well. So if you guys, anybody out there wanna become a videographer or director or editor, make sure you please contact us, man. Contact@aeonvisual.com, because we will be hiring.
That's what's up. Okay, that's big, man. That's big. Making moves. So again, my connect with you initially was through making music. The videography is something that's bubbling right now. We see some of the stuff that you've worked on, that you've put out. You just dropped a gift for, but you have been and continue to be in the lab as an artist, as a musician. So things are growing. 2020, we're in 2020 now. I mean, what's up with that next audio project, B?
Yeah. I mean, we just dropped on Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
we always I'm working on the album, and it's been in the works for quite some time now,
Yeah.
and I've scrapped whole track lists probably like 4 times
Yeah,
by
yeah.
now. But like,
yeah.
I think the album project that's going to drop someday. I can't give you a date right now, but
Yeah.
the album project is really what just keeps my pen sharp. Because every time I make some new songs, I'm like, yeah, this is going on the album.
Yeah.
And then I tuck some stuff away, and I'm like, I pick and choose, and I got this big old pile of music that I'm gonna be dropping, which is gonna be singles.
Word.
So throughout 2020, y'all gonna get a lot more singles from me.
Okay, word.
And then we'll probably drop some more projects, and you know how I get done, man. I always drop something in December, so
Okay.
at least you'll get it by the end of next year.
Yeah. Because I mean, I would imagine that as you're continuing on in your career, like, and you do drop. I mean, to be fair, if people look back over the last several years, I mean, you will drop a single here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Not here and there. You will drop singles.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that your audience, to a certain degree, craves that, right? They want something new. They want to know that you're still making music. They want to know
Absolutely.
that that they can still expect stuff from you.
Yeah, it's very true because I mean, when I started the business, Aeon Visual, that has taken a lot of my time just to make sure I build something that's long standing and something I can also fall back on if my vocal cords ever go out or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I make sure that I got more than one stream of income and things like that just to make sure I'm good because I'm growing up as an adult.
Yep.
I'm not a teenager no more,
Yep.
unfortunately. But but yeah, it's just the realities of life that I got more stuff going on outside of the music, and that's kind of where I want to take it in the long run. Not necessarily next year or anything where it's like I'm just out of music. I'm not gonna stop music for quite some time now because I got some more years to go.
Yeah.
And but in the long run, I really just want to focus on building businesses and affecting the world and just doing bigger things outside of music, whether that's with music as an artist or having artists or doing whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to connect with the world and make sure that I make my impact before I go.
That's what's up, bro.
Because there's so many young kids that have been dying young, bro,
Yeah.
and they have all these millions of fans and people who love them, parents and family members and fans that just they can't go on without them. But here they have to have to try, bro. They gotta try it now.
So what do you stay plugged into to help you maintain that perspective, man? Because I mean you're speaking on something that's so real, and I think we talk about the artists that we lose, and there's always the question why, like why did they have to make certain decisions, and I'm not even talking about artists who are who we lose for external reasons in terms of a lot of the hate and evil that goes on in the world, but I'm talking about artists who oftentimes subject themselves to certain things that takes away. But how do you maintain that perspective? What do you plug into to help you stay grounded and aware of the potential ills of the world?
So I mean, the biggest thing for me is that I don't do any drugs, and not that there's anything against anybody who does, but I feel like it's just a healthy, conscious choice to just stay aware and just tap into different sources of things that make you happy. Yeah. For me, it's different podcasts, YouTube channels, and self-help books that really just, that's what I do for fun. Outside of music, bro, if it's not YouTube, I'm probably reading a book.
That's what's up, bro.
I'm probably reading a book, bro.
Yeah.
And I like the self-help stuff where it's like really learning about how to educate myself about financial security and how to really deal with money because, like I say on the tape, a lot of people we've been raised thinking that money is the root of all evil, but it really can be a tool to bring yourself out the evil if you use it right, Yeah. So I make sure to just make sure I got motivational stuff in my ear, podcasts and things that just lift me up and get me through the day, man. That's what I look for.
And then you take that and you flip it and you educate and you share that with other people. So people who are into you. And I mean, come on, man. Truth be told, you're an artist, and to a certain group of individuals, you can be looked at as this person that they look up to or that they look to for whatever. And you're using your platform in that fashion to share that knowledge that you have. Have you had experiences thus far in your career, whether it be through audio, the visual stuff that you've done, where someone has reached out to you to let you know that, man, like that hit me, or thank you for sharing that?
It happens a lot. It's just really mostly in my comment section where it's like certain parts of my songs will hit people and be like, man, I never thought about it like that, or
Yeah.
like it just gets deeper than just a song lyric a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Where I mean, there's different situations, but I can't really think of one right now.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of different stuff, man.
But so that I ask because I would imagine that's gotta be to a certain degree motivating to know that the
It
things that
definitely
you're
is.
doing are having that sort of an impact on people
I
in a
think-
positive way.
Yeah, I think that's probably like the biggest thing for me is just the effect that it can have on other people, and I think that's where a lot of artists can go wrong is just kind of taking their fan base or their platform for granted,
Yeah.
and just kind of spreading like not positivity,
Yeah.
like negativity or poison.
Yeah.
It's really just poison because the people who come next that look up to them, they could probably have a whole different look on life if the person that they looked up to most had a different way of carrying themselves.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still listen to artists that drop all the ratchetness and talk about the drugs and do that because it's really, I mean, it's really just who listens to it and how they can consume it and what they take from it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just want to make sure that if they listen to my music, they got a choice of taking something good from it and not
That's what's
just
up.
you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
not just the ratchetivities.
Yeah. And it's hip hop's all, and that's one of the conversations. It's funny, bro, because on my journey, I've just been the curmudgeon, like, man, ain't nobody saying that, whatever. And I still will verbalize that sometimes, but I also realize, and people have helped me realize that there's like that's not new. Like that's always been in this genre that we love in terms of rap music.
Yeah.
But I think that there was a time where you couldn't really feel the balance. The balance was just way swung the other direction, and you had to dig. And being in the position I am as a DJ, it's nice because I have an opportunity to dig and then use my platform for sharing that. And so it's so cool for me to be able to build with an artist like yourself who is creating that balance and who recognizes that, yeah, I mean, that's there. That doesn't mean that it's whatever,
Right.
but with my platform, this is what I choose to do. This is what I choose to share, which I think is helpful in maintaining that balance.
Yeah, definitely, man. I just think that a lot of music, it can either bring you into something or it can bring you out.
Yeah.
And to think about like what you were saying, like even forever since the beginning of hip hop, people have either been rapping about selling drugs or like nowadays people rapping about doing them.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it really just comes from their surroundings and how they grew up or things that they can't escape.
Yeah.
It's sad though,
Yeah.
because I mean, with the drug thing, I really feel like, man, it's really like, dang, there's really no hope.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost have to help themselves.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of friends that have battled that and have tried to go out, get sober.
Yeah.
And I've tried to help them in that direction and push them to do better things for themselves. But
Yeah.
it's really just hard because, I mean, you can only do so much. You can't see more in somebody than they see in themselves. And that's the hardest part because they can't see it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest part. So I just feel like, man, that's what people, I feel like that's what artists these days have to really learn how to do is just kind of balance the fun and the responsibility.
Yeah, no doubt. Chopping up with the homie Young Mill. So, as you now continue to put more and more efforts into the business side of it, into continuing your growth as a videographer, you've already invited people to tap in if they're interested in being involved. What are the avenues? Like, how should people connect? How should people reach out?
Yeah, definitely contact via email, or you can also send us a DM on Instagram or Facebook. And that's Aeon Visual. So that's AEON Visual, no S. Everybody calls it Aeon Visuals, but it's
I
just
think
Aeon
I even
Visual.
say Aeon Visuals as well.
It's all good. No, it
Yeah.
makes sense though. But
Yeah.
it's just plural for my sake.
That's what's up.
Just
That's
cause.
what's up. Being a member of the Portland hip hop scene, I'm always curious from an artist's perspective, like, and especially for somebody like yourself who now has had a significant experience outside of Portland, and then obviously has maintained connections with scenes outside of Portland.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Portland hip hop scene? And I tell you why I asked that question. I've had the blessing to have people who tap in to the podcast and then reach out and talk about, man, like there's so much about, like, thank you for doing the podcast. Like, I didn't realize that that's what was happening in Portland. I didn't realize that about the scene. So from an artist perspective, like, what is your perspective of the Portland hip hop scene?
I believe
right now,
I think the Portland hip hop scene is in a really cool place because over the years, it hasn't seemed like the collaborative effort has been as as high as it is now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it exactly, but like everybody seems to be more gathering together and actually working, and it's not such competition all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I noticed that when I was first getting started, I mean, although I was one of like the first younger guys in that first little new generation,
Yeah.
but like since then, there was a lot of it seemed like gatekeeping, but I don't know. It was never something I dealt with personally, but like it seemed like that was like the big aura around the Portland hip hop. Like nobody was putting nobody on, and nobody was sharing the blessings and stuff like that. But I feel like that's really not a big deal now. I feel like everybody has really humbled themselves and have, you know what I'm saying, they're reaching back to lift up others, and I feel like that's a good place for the Portland hip hop scene to be. And other than that, I just think that there's a lot of talent. It's a lot of good talent, bro. Yes. And it's the playing field is more, I don't know, it's an even playing field, because back then I feel like the talent, it was kind of lopsided. I don't know if that's a cool thing to say, but hey, it's hip hop. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, man, I just feel like there's just a lot more. The quality, the standard is higher for more individual artists. Yeah. So it's easier to work with those people because it's more professional. You know what I'm saying? People are more professional about how they carry themselves. Yeah. It's not just homeboy over here with the record label on the T-shirt trying to ask for if you can get on my mixtape. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, because everybody should always push their music and their movement. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you can never ask a bad question, because it's always gonna be no if you don't ask it. Right. So continue to grind that out. Don't let what I just said, it was a joke. Don't let that discourage you. Right. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I just feel like everybody's just been working better. It's been more of a collaborative effort, and we getting better, bro. No doubt. It's coming.
Yeah, and it's interesting. People who are fans of the podcast, who've listened for a while, will hear, because I've talked about that when I first came to the city. You could see that there were groups that just rocked together for whatever reason, whether it was geographical or whatever, and now you do see a lot of that sort of, for lack of a better term, cross contamination of people building together. But you said something, bro. I got to put you on the spot a little bit, because you said something that I think is interesting. So you said that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there was a time where people felt like they were sort of gatekeepers, but that wasn't necessarily your experience.
Because I mean, I never seen it personally, because I don't know if it was just the timing or if I just had the sauce, or I'm kidding. But no, I just feel like I never really seen that too much when I was first getting started, because I mean, I always just was going 100% hard. Nobody could really stop me. Nobody could gate me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like nobody had that power over me to really tell me that they couldn't do it, that I couldn't do it. I was going to get there anyway. So I feel like maybe that's just the excuse that people have when they don't want to work hard enough, or they just, they just don't want to, they want to close the door in their own face, because they could be up here, you know what I'm saying, talking to everybody I'm talking to and sharing those connections, you know what I'm saying?
Bruh, see, that's what I'm talking about.
But they rather, take it that direction. But that's just all I got to say.
No, that's so funny to me, bro. But see, and this is one man's perspective, B. Mm-hmm. But I take it back to the very beginning of this conversation. To me, I think that one of the reasons that you didn't feel that was what I said from jump, B. Just the way you carry yourself, bro. Like you've always carried yourself. You've always carried yourself confident but humble. You know what I'm saying? You've always treated everything that I've seen of you, and bro, like it's not like we hang. Like I see you all the time, but anytime I see you, you treat everybody with love and respect. The art that you put out there, it is well put together. Like how somebody gonna be a gatekeeper if you you know what I'm saying?
Right. If you over there, if you're opening doors, bro, for yourself and others around you.
Come on, say that, bitch. Say that.
That's how I see it.
That's a lesson for sure,
but
for sure.
I think the biggest thing for me, the reason why I carried myself the way I do, I mean, other than that's just who I am and how I've always been as a kid too, just like a nice dude, just connecting with people and trying to make people smile and stuff like that. But when I was coming up, I would open up for these artists, and I would not like them no more after I met them. So I mean, I would hate to have that kind of impression on somebody. So that's just how it is, bro. That's rap, bro. Because I had people who I really looked up to. I shared shows with, and so I've tens and hundreds of tickets with, and never really got to have a good conversation because it was just it was trash. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy that you say that, bro. Because so this is something that I remember learning as I started building more with artists, having conversations with artists, And then, you know, knowing artists who did open up, whether it be DJs who opened up or performers who opened up for like a group that I was a fan of or an artist I was a fan of. And I learned that, you know, when your name is on the flyer opening for big name artists,
Right.
that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't
You know what
mean
I'm
as
saying?
much as it could mean.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, all right, let me tell y'all some real rap right now. A lot of
Okay.
people
I
probably,
know where you want to go.
I
with
know,
it, man.
no, but some people might not notice because they're not backstage and stuff like that. A lot of times when you get on these shows and you share these stages with these people, you will be backstage and you'll get ready to do your set. The main headliner ain't even in the building yet.
Yeah.
You'll be on stage, you'll knock it out. You just hoping that maybe he'll be watching your set and so y'all can link and like he'll know what's going on with you in the town. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel like you've been putting a lot of work in the town and you got a nice fan base as well. But they not gonna get there till afterwards. So by the time you get off stage and they getting ready to knock out they set, they in go mode. So they not about to be sitting there trying to talk to you. And then after they knock out they set, they tired, so they about to just jump right in the tour bus and keep it moving. So honestly, I mean, but it's really not like that with everybody though.
Yeah.
It's really like there's a certain caliber of artist that is going to be like that regardless, and that's not something that you could take personal.
Right.
But like sometimes there are those artists that really they're still on the upcome and they still know where they came from and know where they're going, and they know that everybody else on this bill might pass. They might pass them someday. So they know that they're conscious of that and they're aware that these are artists that are going hard just like they are.
Yeah.
And they appreciate that, and they will chop it up with you, and they will share gems, and sometimes you will get collabs from them. You know what I'm saying? If you built that connection right, but it's not always what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
But there is that possibility that it could be. So you know what I'm saying? Keep following that. Keep going with it.
That's so cool. It's so cool to hear that, man, because it is not something when you're a fan of the art, you have this vision of what you think it is.
Yeah.
And
It's big, bro.
I would imagine from an artist standpoint that could be pretty discouraging. So again, I think it's so dope that you've maintained the perspective that you have that. Nah, that's just a part of it, but I'm not going to let that stop what I believe is my purpose or my calling to keep pushing this way. So, you know, big ups to you, bro, for that.
Thank you, bro. And I think that any upcoming artist should always know that not everybody is what it seems like, but at the same time, bro, really you can be that. You can be what it seems. That's what I want. I want everybody to really know that is like, bro, anything that you feel like you could be as an artist, you can probably go do it. You just gotta take the steps to make it happen, and then just be a good person, bro. It's not that hard. It ain't that hard.
True.
I mean, it's hard, but it's not that hard.
Yeah. And I think that is a great take home message, man. At the end of the day, regardless of what jacket, what uniform, what suit we put on when we leave the house in the morning, at the end of the day, man, we're all people. Mm-hmm. And I think if we maintain that perspective and treat one another accordingly, man, and at the end of the day, man, just be kind. We can get a whole lot further in this situation than if we do the opposite.
That's super true, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So, this was dope, Bree. This was so dope. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Look, bro, I appreciate you coming through because, like I said, learning your story and for me, man, a lot of it it's confirmation of what I've seen publicly that you know you are a genuine dude. You know, I think what people see of you, hopefully they walk away from this recognizing and realizing that that you are who you portray yourself to be. And I think that especially in this genre of rap, that's not always an easy thing to do because, you know, we got to put on airs, right? That's why not very many people go by the government name because it is like when I'm on stage, I'm this different persona. Yeah. I think that's lessening over time now, but I think to have an artist like yourself to portray that positivity, not only in the music that you make, but then also in the moves that you make to show people even from a young age, you can take something that you're passionate about and build it into a business.
It's fact.
Is encouraging and motivating, and I think it deserves to be recognized. I think the older I get, the more I say, man, give me my flowers, and I'm alive to smell them. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
very true, bro.
That's why I'm saying big ups to you, bro, for the stuff that you're doing.
I appreciate that, bro. It means a lot coming from you too. Because I know who you are in the town too, bro. Man. Don't downplay it.
I'm a humble servant, baby.
For real.
Nah, bro. As long as you continue to move the way that you're moving, man, know that you will always have a platform, whether it be the podcast, whether it be the radio show, anything that has to do with DJ Klyph Productions, bro. Because that's real community, and I think that's what we should do for one another.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm down, man. Just let me know. Anytime you need me to skirt, pull up, I'm in there.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Young Mill, yo, let them know, if people are trying to plug in one more time, let them know what's the way to connect, what's the way to reach out.
Yeah, if you want to reach me, man, make sure you follow me on all social medias. It's just YUNGMIL. That's Young Mill with no O and one L. And also, man, make sure y'all get on Spotify and Apple Music and just play all my recent music that I got on there. And then also subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where you can find the free mixtape, The Gift 4, exclusively.
Yes.
Because we did a YouTube release, man, because there's too many samples. We ain't trying to clear everything. So
the project's dope, B. The project is dope. I listened to it this morning. There's a couple of joints. I was gonna try to get my note situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of joints that are really dope. The joint that Cool Nuts is on is dope. The one before the one that before the one that Cool Nuts is on.
Oh, I think that's All I Need.
I think that might be
the one where the
dun,
dun, dun,
yeah.
dun.
Yes, that's the joint. I was like, oh,
yeah,
he
man.
flipped that show. And then like your verse on that, you was like spitting fire on that, bro.
And it's fun. It's a crazy story because everything in that song is really inspired by true events. Because when I was growing up, like, of course, it's probably a lot of people's story as well that, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got the best gear, you ain't got new Jordans, you ain't got all this cool stuff, you're not that fly. And so you get to school and then there's kids who got better drip than you and you looking scruffy, bro. So they gonna point you out, they gonna target you.
Right.
And that bullying, what I'm trying to say is basically just bullying is a really big deal in America and across the world that we really gotta bring that to the light and stop it, bro. Because it builds up. It's not something that just gets swept under the rug and forgotten. Yeah. Even though that's what, you know what I'm saying, society tries to sweep it under the rug often. Right. Because it seems like, oh, you're just a little kid. Get over it. You'll grow out of it. But it can affect you in long-term ways. But, I mean, as long as you find outlets like I did with music and just good friends and family to make sure I got out of those dark places, then you can be good. You know what I'm saying? You can be straight. But sometimes not everybody has those outlets or that community around them to lift them up. And sometimes bad things happen.
No doubt. It's another one of those things we've seen way too much of, man. Mm-hmm. So once again, man, big ups to you for bringing awareness to real issues in a way that's very, very palatable to your audience, man, to all of us, for real.
Of course, man. I feel like it's the least I could do, man, because I know when I was growing up, man, things were hard, but things ain't gotta be so hard no more.
No doubt, no doubt.
And
we can say it here on the Klyph Notes podcast, bro. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube situation. Stream whatever your streaming service of choice is, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. But also, man, look, bro, Young Mill got merch. Yeah. Like, bro, let them know about the merch, bro.
I got the merch, too. Yeah, make sure you check it out, man. I got the DBA Click merch, which is Dream, Believe, Achieve, Click. That's the fan base that we be repping, man. Everybody who got goals and dreams out there, make sure you go get you a DBA Click hat on youngmillonstage.com. Also got some new Young Mill hoodies that's about to drop too. So make sure you just stay in touch, bro, because we just got a whole lot of crazy stuff going on.
That's what's up.
Just know it.
That's what's up. And look, the reason I say it that way, man, is because I realize that in this genre of rap music, things are such where, you know, albums are consumed through streaming, which I think is dope. But we know that streaming does not put money in pockets.
That's true.
So when artists that you love, artists you respect, or artists that you first introduced to that you feel like, wow, I'm really digging what that artist is doing with their art, man, support these cats. Young Mill he's a young man who's done some really amazing things. He's got a new business, or a newer business that's doing well, but it ain't doing that well. You know what I'm saying? So get out there, hit the merch. Support this man, you know what I'm saying? Support this man so that he can continue to spread the word of positivity through music, through visual arts. Yeah, man, let's support the supporters, for real.
Yeah, man, I appreciate everybody who want to tap in with me, man. We can get it. Let's do it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. The homie Young Mill, man, the Klyph Notes podcast. Like you said, bro, it's been a long time coming, and it's truly a blessing to have you a part of this journey with me, bro.
Yes, sir, man. It's an honor to be here.
Word up. Word up. Yeah, man. You know, up next, we're going to get you on the Welcome to the Neighborhood radio show.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Let me know, man.
That's what's up. Yo, thanks to Young Mill for coming through, man. Thank y'all for listening to this. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe to the Klyph Notes podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts or Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, everywhere, man. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, this podcast is available. So please be sure to subscribe and then also share. Let all your folk know that this podcast is out there, and subscribe to it. You can also subscribe to the DJ Klyph YouTube page. There's going to be more content up there. Check me out every Saturday night on XRAY FM. Welcome to the Neighborhood from 8 to 10 p.m. playing joints like music from Young Mill and other artists you've heard here on the podcast. And of course, you can always plug in DJ Klyph all over social media. That's DJ KLYPH, or you can hit me on the website www.djklyph.com. I got merch at 37 Limited. Actually, you can get to that through the website, the DJ Klyph website. You can also get you a pair of the official DJ Klyph tennis shoe sneaker. That one is available. There's a link on the website for that as well. One more time, man, big ups to XRAY FM for their continued support of the recording of the Klyph Notes podcast. Big ups to our folk over at Akepele Apparel for their continued support. Check them out at Akepele Apparel. Hit them up on social media. Let them know you heard about them through the Klyph Notes podcast. And last but never ever least, big ups to the homie Theory Hazit for creating the official theme song for the Klyph Notes podcast. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. God bless you until we have an opportunity to do this again. Peace.